All right, welcome to our pre-recorded weekly Q&A. My name's Dennis, I'm the founder and managing director of fitrec, and with me I have Lloyd Moore of Gallagher. We're here to talk about the new partnership between fitrec and Gallagher Insurance. First of all, Lloyd, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Lloyd, please go into more detail if you can about the scope of coverage. I understand this relationship includes an insurance product that provides greater coverage than many of the other products we've seen previously.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. It certainly does, and I think for us, it's and our passions at Gallagher and what we try to achieve for various different industries, and the health and wellness industry being one that's very close to my own heart. To partner with a company like fitrec that shares a similar passion in providing improved offerings to the members of the health and wellness space. It's definitely something we've been striving for, and we really look forward to seeing where the relationship goes. From a fitrec member perspective, we do have a very, very good combined liability offering that has developed and evolved over my 10 years in insurance for the health and wellness space, and it does come down to the activities that you are suitably qualified to instruct. So it can be a lot broader in some aspects rather than just sticking to personal training, for instance. Over the last 10 years, we really have focused in on the health and wellness space and understanding and trying to understand some of the challenges that are faced by fitness professionals and health and wellness professionals. In being that there are offerings and products out there where they are cost effective, definitely, and so our offering is cost effective as well. But really a no frills kind of service. It's really hard to get an answer to a question or get someone on the phone that you can talk to and say, am I okay to do this, or can you help? I want to do this as part of my business, and what are the risks that I might face by doing it? So that's where Gallagher comes in, and that's what we strive to do. Is we want to compete on cost. Most importantly, everyone wants to save a few dollars, but we also want to be able to provide something that's a little bit more tangible rather than just an insurance policy that you might need and never have, or might have but never need to use, and ideally that's the scenario. You pay for insurance every year and you never need it, but when you do need it, you want to make sure that it's lined up correctly and you've ticked the right boxes along the way to make sure that you're going to be looked after and you can survive that insurable event.
And you touched on a few things there about the service element to it.
Yep.
We are very keen to connect with Gallagher, and the conversations we've had with yourself and your team have been a lot more comforting for us in terms of we get the feel that the type of service you provide is going to reflect the service that we provide our members.
Yep.
And that's a big thing for us. We've had some challenges in the past where our registered members were unable to connect particularly easily with the insurance provider, and we're looking forward to seeing much different operation with Gallagher. How does it work for the professionals if they have any questions?
Yeah, definitely. So we've got a landing page and a 1-800 number that can go through, and you can get through to any of the team to answer questions, or an email can come through. 1-800-222-012, or the team email, which is bd@agg.com.au. Either one of them will get through to either myself or the team. We are working very closely with yourself, Dennis, and Lewis around an escalation point as well, so that there is that comfort for a member that might not feel like they're getting a response in the time frame that they need, or it could be an urgent matter that needs to be dealt with, so that they can get to the top of the pile. That can come through fitrec and then be messaged across to myself and the team to take up as an escalation for sure.
And you've got extensive experience with the fitness industry in insurance. Tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, I do. So I've been doing insurance for our Schemes Infinity and the fitness industry for 10 years now.
Okay.
Prior to my life in the corporate side of insurance, I ran my own business as a personal trainer.
Yeah, right.
Did for 3 years in Queensland. And look, if a few things, life events didn't occur, I probably very much would have still been in the industry.
Oh, that's great. So you have a very hands-on understanding of the sort of things that people will be going through.
Oh, definitely. And that's, to be honest, that's really where my passion comes from. I went through the challenges of trying to run a business for 3 years and get an answer on what I needed and some guidance on risk management advice, and I knew what the challenges were. And when an opportunity came up for me to take that and bring it into the corporate world, it was something I was just really latched onto. I feel like I can help and provide more to the industry with the role that I'm in now than what I could when I was being a business owner, for instance. So it really gets me out of bed in the morning to be able to have those conversations around the importance of a waiver form, or risk management advice, or your equipment maintenance registers and things like that, and all these little things that we all do on a day to day that can sometimes become a little bit monotonous. But when all the cards are laid down on the table, these are the things that could differentiate from a claim being successful or a claim being unsuccessful as well.
Okay, which is a good sort of segue into one of the things that I want to get out of this conversation, which is maybe provide some insight for professionals on how, I guess common pitfalls that they can avoid, or the certain things you'd say, look, these are must check offs, make sure you do these, if nothing else, get these done. You've mentioned waiver form and the risk management advice, that sort of thing. Like, what would your advice be, the top 3 things that professionals need to be looking at?
Yeah, definitely. The top 3 things, number 1 on that list is the waiver form and pre-activity health questionnaire. We all get taught this when we're getting qualified and during our education piece. I'm also a realist. I've worked in the industry. I know what it can be like to have a client come in for their first session with you, and you're going through the pre-activity health questionnaire, and you get to an answer or a question that they answer that yes, they've got a pre-existing medical condition or something like that. Now, as a personal trainer, you're more than qualified to train someone with a medical condition, definitely. What we're not qualified to do is to make that medical determination that person is fit to participate in physical activity. So the importance of going through that process is that if someone answers a question or any of the questions on your form that make you go, okay, well, I was taught that if they do this, I need to send them to get medical clearance, that it is really, really important. As I said, very tough when you've got a brand new client sitting there in front of you that you can't then go and put them through a session.
Yep.
But these are the little things that at the end of the day, if that person was to go and have an incident whilst they're training with you, you've offset that exposure and actually sit on the doctor, not on yourself.
Right. Now, 2 questions I got there. One of them regarding the source of a waiver form and pre-activity questionnaire. Did Gallagher have recommended templates for these things, or is this something that the trainer needs to put together themselves?
Yeah, so we don't have recommended templates that we can provide, being that they are generally will form like a legal document.
Yep.
We work closely with the industry bodies around putting out templates for the industry, so that there'll be something that we'd want to work with fitrec on and try and provide some further videos and content like this around where we can go into a lot more of the detail as well around the risk management or the formation of a waiver form or whatever that might be.
Right, okay. And I think the other thing I was just going to say was that the recognition that if someone does indicate they have a condition, it doesn't mean you can't train them. What it does mean is that you need to forward them off to someone else. It's not your decision to make as to whether or not they can go forward with the training. And that might be a GP or a physio.
Any other medical professional that will pick up that indemnity of if someone was to then have a serious incident whilst they're training with you, to cover off that they determine that person is fit and able to participate, and they might provide some recommendations around how you would introduce them to training. Someone that's obese and has a heart condition, you're probably not going to put them straight into a HIIT workout, for instance. You're probably going to step them through it and start to build it up before you go jump in the deep end.
Okay, and this I might get into the reads a bit here, but so did you mention the fact that if you have a general practitioner, for example, says they're good to train, essentially what they're doing is taking on more of the risk if something goes wrong, assuming you follow protocol there. Like, it's a matter of it passes sort of up the risk if anything goes wrong passes to the person that said they could train.
Yeah, correct. So to keep consistency, we'll use the same scenario. Someone with obesity and a heart condition. If they were to have a heart attack and unfortunately pass away whilst participating in exercise, there's a likelihood that the family of that individual are going to want to seek damages and try and sue the personal trainer. And part of that defence will be trying to defend the personal trainer against being accused of negligence. And part of that will be we identified that there was some health conditions we sought medical clearance to say that yes, they're okay to participate. Here's the letter from the doctor that said that the individual was able to do this, this, and this, and here's my training records of what we've done. And we didn't go outside of what we were told that we could do. Now I am qualified, I as in the position of the fitrec member, am qualified to train people with these conditions, and therefore we haven't been negligent in anything that we've been doing. Go away, basically.
Gotcha. Okay, moving on from the waiver form, what else do professionals need to be tied on?
Record keeping, definitely. So things around training records. If you've got a way of recording what you're doing with each client, as you become more and more busy as well, it definitely is a way of making sure that your client's happy and personalised training to the individual. And there's a point in your career where you will get to you're doing 20, 30 sessions a week that you do start to do the same session with a few people. So it's important that it's still tailored to the individual at the end of the day. That's what you're doing. You're doing personal training that needs to suit what that individual needs. And so being able to document that, to go back and prove the progressions that were provided, should we ever need to, and caveat that with hopefully we never need to. And it's about just showing what you've been doing. So if someone is alleging and says, hey, I told you I had sciatica or a bad back and you loaded me up with deadlifts without any progression to get there, to understand what core and everything like that, it'll help us then disprove that allegation.
Okay. And how long do these records need to be kept for? That's a reasonable time.
So the statute of liability is at the moment 7 years.
Okay.
So potentially an adult that has an incident whilst training with you has a 7-year period to lodge a claim from the date that the incident occurred. So definitely at least the 7 years.
Yeah.
When it comes to minors, so if we're working with children, the parents of the child will have that same 7-year period, but the child themselves will have all the way through to 21. So if we are working with teens and 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, it's a longer period.
Right, 7 years for adults, and for children 7 years for the parents to claim, but the child can claim up to the age of 21.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Right. And any best practice advice on the method of keeping those records?
Yep. So going back to when I was running a business, paper files was still very much what we're doing. Yeah. Electronic files now, definitely. Yeah. Definitely you can scan. There's loads of software out there that allows you to input it and store it anyway. Yep. Electronic files are always easiest to find.
On that note, we do have a free offering for registered members called Tracky, which is a way in which they can keep a record of their clients for this reason, so that they might be able to hang on to these records more easily. And all right, one more thing. I said 3. You give me 2 eye openers already. Is there a third thing that you've mentioned professionals should be tight on when they're running their business? Yeah,
look, I think maintaining a membership with an industry body. Yep. And that's obviously we're here working with you on the basis of the support that you provide to the member. So being a member of a fitrec or any of the other bodies allows just access to up-to-date information, industry trends that we might be seeing. Access to videos like this where we might come out and talk about something that we've noticed a bit of a spike in claims. So it keeps you up to date with what's happening and what to look out for as well.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you very much. And this is actually one of the great things that I want to be able to provide members is this sort of insight. I've learned a bunch already today, and I imagine there's a lot of members out there having their eyes open as well. In terms of, you mentioned whether there's any spike in particular types of incidences happening. Is there anything in particular that you would point to at the moment with regards to case studies or things that are going on that professionals should be aware of?
Yeah, definitely. I think the industry at the moment over the last sort of 2 years, it's a bit of a sign of lockdowns and around the country that we've had and we've been through, and shifting more of our clients from training a controlled environment of inside a gymnasium to outdoor sessions, park sessions, things like that. And we've all done that just to survive. It's a sign of the times that we've been in. But in doing that, you're moving from a controlled environment where you don't have to worry about slip hazards and trip hazards and things like that. So outdoor training is definitely one that's we've seen a spike in number of claims, and that varies from slips, trips and falls, which is your liability coverage, through to people getting injuries from training on uneven surfaces, doing burpees on uneven ground and having wrist injuries, and just a significant spike. The worst claim I've seen for the health and wellness industry as well was from outdoor training, and that was a client slipping on some concrete stairs after it had rained, and that claim went through, was successful because it came down to the basis that the personal trainer hadn't provided a safe environment for the client to complete the exercise because there was no grip tape on the stairs. So little things like that you probably would never think of. I know I wouldn't have. When I was in the industry, I would have just seen stairs and went, that looks like torture, let's send everyone up them. But definitely things to keep in mind for, and that's where we come in as well. So as I said, we're here to try and help and answer any questions and provide advice around those sorts of things. So if any of the members are looking to expand their business and just want to have a general chat, feel free to get in touch.
Thank you very much. That is an absolute ton of information dropped in the space of like 15 minutes there. Thank you, Lloyd. Thank you very much for coming in. It's been great to talk to you. I certainly do hope to see you in here again, because I really do think there's a lot of value in having these sorts of conversations for our registered members, and we certainly will be looking to put together a waiver form and pre-activity questionnaire in conjunction with Gallagher to ensure that our members are best protected. Thank you very much, mate. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.